On page 38 of the preparatory level A is the first real physical gesture the student learns in succeeding at the piano. The physical gestures are those motions that the student uses in order to create sound. This particular physical gesture is the basis for all good playing. It teaches the student how the playing mechanism should be moving fluidly in a coordinated way. It teaches the students the sense of arm weight dropping to the bottom of the keys. It gives the idea of what a phrase shape feels like when a student is playing it. And when students understand this physical gesture, my goodness, they start to play ends of phrases so beautifully, even without us explaining it, because they understand what the physical motion is. So this is called the drip, drop, roll motion, and it comes in 3 phases. So first we tell our students to sit tall and long. We want to make sure that they feel this natural curve right here in their back so that they're not slumping at all at the piano bench. So have them sit tall and long and have their arms come up like this. And then just like the illustration with Papa Haydn pouring water through this little boy's fingers, I was explaining that to one of my students, and she said, you know, I was in the shower this morning, Dr. Marley, and I did this, and you know, water really does drip right through your fingers. I said, I know it does. Isn't that great? So the first step is just having our students do this, and they are imagining water is dripping through their fingers. So then you could say that 3 or 4 times, like drip, 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 and then have them drop onto their thighs. So the dropping motion needs to be a natural motion. So some of our students will want to slam onto their thighs, and it brings forward their shoulders and their torso. Other students will be a little bit more shy, and they will daintily want to float down to their thighs. But then we say, no, gravity must take over. So when you drip and then you drop, you just drop onto your thighs like this. The third phase of this physical gesture is rolling forward and off the thighs like this. So you'll notice that what rolls forward first is the wrists. The wrists and then the forearm and the upper arms follow. When the student has dropped, then we can say to them, what is the most released in your entire playing mechanism? And we'll have to explain this to them, but this bone is the humerus bone, and we call this the happy hanging humerus. The elbow hangs, the forearm hangs, and the wrist and the hands and the fingers are nice and released. So this is that feeling of arm weight that we want our students to understand. When students drop into the key, we want to make sure that they feel that same feeling in their arms. This is where that lovely little technique comes in, where we have students play one key and then roll slowly around. You can have the students do this with any finger on any key to get that feeling of arm weight. And we want to remind them that the beautiful sound comes from when the key is struck in a beautiful way and they feel like they are dropping to the bottom of the key bed, which they actually can't see from above. So that's the drip, drop, roll motion. You can use it for all students, whether they're transfer students, older adults, anyone who does not have that feeling of release and relaxation. As you know, this method has so much information about playing with a healthy, natural, body-friendly technique. And it begins right here with this lovely drip, drop, roll motion. I do call this important physical gesture a touch release, because here the students are thinking about how they approach the key, how they play the key, and then how they release off of the key. So that is a beautiful drip, drop, roll motion. If I played a third interval and then I did the same rolling motion off the key, it would look and sound like that. If I played a full triad, using my arm weight, the wrist is nice and flexible, and then the student rolls forward and off the key. So So that's the drop roll motion.